we talk about this a lot as a group. It's not about what happens, it's about how we respond to what happens, and I thought we responded really well in the second half tonight to what happened in the first half, or the frustration of those two going down and not being available. So I'm proud of that. I think that says a lot about our leadership in our locker room, and I think about David DeJulius first when I think about that. So I'm proud of him. I thought he really did some nice things to try to get us going defensively and get our grit and our edge going defensively tonight. And that might not show up in the stat sheet. That might not be the sexy thing to talk about, but there's some possessions where he just sits down and defends, and it makes the rest of our team want to defend. So I was proud of him. Needless to say, guys, the second half was what you want to see. We got our hands on balls. Our defense was active. Defense leads to offense. Jeremiah, I thought, played some of his best offensive basketball and defensive basketball there in the second half, and that gave us a huge lift. We're asking so much of Dave and Odie and Ches from a minute standpoint right now, and I thought they were all terrific, even though it wasn't Ches's night or Lander's night shooting the ball. So that the second half was something I'm proud of. There was some things in the first half that were very frustrating. I'm sure they were frustrating to watch, but again, I liked how we came out and responded the second half. What's hard, Justin, because you want to go practice and get some more rhythm with Kalu and maybe playing Kalu and Odie, because we have had some success playing with a bigger lineup at times. But it's tough because Dave DeJulius and Landers and Odie played such heavy minutes. You also can't run them into the ground in practice because they're going to have to turn around and play heavy minutes again tonight. And so as a coach, you do feel a little frustration that you can only practice so much with those guys because of what we're asking for every night. And that's like the delicate tightrope you walk. You walk, every day in practice right now this time of year. That's February. So it wasn't as much what we did in practice. I just thought those guys it found a rhythm offensively, and they adjusted tonight without Vic, who's obviously a huge part of what we do. Well, he was finishing well, and then he went through a stretch early in the league where it almost you could see it was in his head a little bit, right? And he did what we would all say to do anybody when they're going through any kind of stretch where they're not shooting well or playing as well in a certain area. You go work at it. And he's made a concerted effort to work at his game, to get extra time in the gym, to focus more in the time that we're in there with our team. And now he's starting to finish, but not just tonight, but as you said, over the last couple weeks, and you look up and he's 9 for 9, 18 points with a career high. That's something you like to see. God, I love Jeremiah Davenport. I love them all, but I love him. I mean, he's you know what's neat about him is you can coach him really hard. And so you talk about being prideful or proud, I dug in his behind pretty good now because I didn't like a couple of the decisions he made. And it's always, with Jeremiah, you get to know these young people on such a different level than people that just watch him out there between the 94 feet. He's one of the better offensive talents we have in college basketball, with his ability to shoot it and stretch the floor, and he's a real weapon. So you want him to be aggressive, you want him to take shots and make plays, but sometimes it goes a little too far. And I thought when he, putting his head down in traffic or shooting a fade away and that type of thing, those are kind of like turnovers. And we've been working through that the last couple weeks with him, and I think he's taken a lot of steps in the right direction. I didn't like a couple of those decisions, and obviously I was honest about how I felt, and he really responded, and that's what you like about him. When he takes the floor, guys, he just wants Cincinnati to win basketball games, and if they're all like that every day, Coach, it's pretty easy. But he's fun to coach, and I was proud of how he responded tonight. Yeah, I talked about him in the locker room in front of the team. I've said this before publicly. There ain't a lot of guys that work harder on their body and their game that I've coached than Jared Hensley. He's so committed, and to go the stretch of games he's gone without playing a significant minute. I've been through it as a player. It's really hard. I mean, it messes with you mentally, emotionally, and for him to be ready when his name was called tonight, I think makes some significant plays in the game. The rebounding. I thought Hines has given us problems since I got here. It's like he likes to play against the Bearcats, and I thought Jared did a really nice job on him at times. And then obviously he made a really nice play driving downhill to find Landers late in the game in a late shot clock situation. So I talked about him because I'm really proud of that. Dan Skillings, I thought, gave us solid minutes, you know, and like it's so neat to watch Dan's growth as a player because like everybody sees the talent and the ability, and he'll make these wildly impressive plays, and we all get excited about that. And then sometimes it's a little bit up and down. That's the freshman stuff, and he's starting to become the consistent guy, the solid guy, and that's going to be really good for Cincinnati basketball because the talent and stuff will continue to come out, but he's got to be solid possession after possession. And I thought he let the ball find him tonight to take good shots, and he makes those 2 big threes in the corner. He makes a great back cut in the first half. He defended much better tonight. Obviously there was that stretch when he checks in the second half, and it's like 2 plays back to back. You're like pulling your hair out, but then he gets it back together. So I thought like guys like Jared and Dan and Kalu, it was nice to see them make some plays and gain some confidence tonight.